it's Romy here. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the December reading for Aquarius. If you're Aquarius sun, rising or moon, this is a general reading and it may resonate for you. If it does, please drop me a like or comment. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and you can also support the channel by purchasing the extended reading, and the link for that is below. Please stay tuned as well. Through the month of December, I'm also going to be posting the 2020 annual readings for each of the star signs. So keep tuned in for that. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a notification. Okay, Aquarius, we're going to go ahead and see what's coming out for the month of December for you. Alright, I'm going to flip the camera so that you can see the cards that I'm pulling in more detail. Okay, Aquarius, so we're looking at December 2019 for you. So as I'm recording this in November, we're still approaching this new moon in Sagittarius on the 26th, which is really going to deliver in this beautiful energy of expansion, a sense of optimism about the way forward as you approach the end of this real decade of discovery. And that new moon in Sagittarius is in 11th house for you, which is actually the house that rules hopes and dreams. So there's a sense of feeling more optimistic around this time. And as we move into the start of December, Jupiter is moving into the sign of Capricorn. So Jupiter, planet of expansion and growth, and in the sign of Capricorn, it wants us to gain mastery. It's this sense of bringing luck through perseverance and this sense of self-reliance that we can have. Capricorn is in your 12th house, Aquarius, so there's also this sense of the metaphysical, of wanting to gain a deeper understanding and a sense of richness about the way that the universe works. And so you might find this transit of Jupiter that moving through Capricorn over the next year is really taking you on a bit of a quest to understand and know yourself as energy, so that you can work with the laws of the universe in a even more insightful way, with more awareness and connection than you have before. So we begin your reading with the card of the Three of Wands, which for me is definitely bringing in the sense of you regaining your footing almost, and looking out toward the horizon with a different agenda. I feel like the last few weeks has brought about some real transformation through Scorpio season for you, and you're now assessing what you want to do with that. And there's an awareness that's coming through that says, I know where I want to expand. I know the areas that I want to really step up. I can see the potential in this area of my life, but I know what I need to do within myself to be able to put myself in the receiving mode of that good energy to come in towards me. So we have this beautiful quality of you feeling a little bit more, I want to say, realizing that you have to do things differently, okay? That's what's coming through for you, Aquarius. Realizing that you have to do things differently. And not being afraid of that. There's quite a fearless quality that I always get through with the Three of Wands that just says, I'm just ready for this. I'm ready to step up and to expand my vision of the art of the possible. And on the 9th, we've got Mercury moving into Sagittarius. Again, your 11th house. And for me, this is about you being able to communicate differently as well. Coming from a place of increased courage, coming from an energy that says, I'm actually ready to step up for what I believe in. I'm ready to put forward my perspective without fear of what the impact of that might be. I'm ready to stand up for myself where I need to within a relationship sense or within a work capacity. I'm asserting new boundaries for myself because I see things differently and I'm prepared to do things differently. That's what's coming through. And there is this sense of almost like personal liberation that I feel is going to follow you all the way through the month of December, Aquarius, and take us right into the end of the year. That 12th house activity for you as we move into the sun sign of Capricorn particularly is going to help to bring closure and a sense of real healing to the end of this decade for you. I think more than most signs Aquarius, you're really going to feel that powerful ending of 2019 and what the last 10 years has delivered, and especially what 2019 has put in front of you and asked you to navigate your way through fearlessly at times. And you've done so, even where you feel like you've fallen short, even where you feel like you're not quite where you're meant to be, or certainly where you expected to be. For me, the Queen of Wands coming through is just the rush of energy that I feel is on its way through the month of December to help you get over the line with something, to help you get over the line so you're really setting yourself up in a very powerful way as we move into January, and that kind of straight arrow right into Aquarius season for you. Now, there could be a fire sign energy that's on the scene right now, an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. And as we look to the way the narrative is presenting itself here, you may well find that this is somebody that you're having to stand up to, Aquarius. Maybe this is somebody that has pushed your buttons or has triggered you in some way. Not necessarily in the negative. This could be somebody that's just trying to pull out the best of you. You know, somebody that sees something within you and is trying to show you the potential. You know, we talk about that Three of Wands. Here's where your potential is. Here's where you need to do the work. Here's where you need to believe in yourself more, Aquarius. Of course, if this is talking about relationships, again, you may find that someone is presenting a point of view or a perspective that, I don't know, maybe it's feeling a little bit uncomfortable when you first are hearing the words, you know, that mirror kind of quality that sometimes we don't really want to acknowledge. But actually there feels like there could be some truth or some resonance that you can take away from that, as long as it's not coming forward from a projection of negativity, but rather one of awareness, shall we say. So I feel that this is a wholly good start as we move into December in terms of your conscious understanding of how you're vibrating energetically, and a recognition of what that's bringing to your door and the type of connections and people that are circulating around you. But I feel right now, Aquarius, you have good people supporting you. That's what's coming through. I feel like there's a lot of energies that are willing you on or trying to help light the way for you, so to speak, and that you need to be in a position. Exactly. Okay, so we have the support, this card of the Three of Cups coming in. So there's a group situation, you know, people that really are having your back right now. And actually, you know, as we're in Sagittarius season, you know, through that first part of December, this is 11th house activity for you, Aquarius. So it is about how you are resonating within that group dynamic, what the friendships and the social connections that you have in your world mean to you, and how you can lean on them, how you can accept the help, take the advice, and use that as a platform with which to really help elevate your own thinking, your way of being, and what you have to say and how you want to put that out and express that in the world, okay? You've got a couple of threes that have shown up early on in the reading here. So it also says to me that there's something that you're trying to give birth to. There's an idea, there's a new way of thinking, there's a new relationship. Something is forming itself at the moment. And maybe there's a little frustration, I feel, that could be coming in for you around this, Aquarius. So it's not quite fitting into place in the way that you need it to or expect it to at the moment. And sometimes when we're in that final month of the year, there's that almost slight panic of, I need this to all come into place. I need this to show up in a way that I can feel peaceful, that I'm clearing out, you know, 2019 and I've achieved something, or I've got to the point where I'm happy with where I am. So, you know, the guides are talking to me about this sense of having to try and be a little bit more at ease and surrendering to where you are in the process, even if it's not quite at the finish line that you expected or you wanted to be at, okay? Because there's still there's still that sense of things being in motion and coming together. I certainly feel by the end of this month, by the end of December, you're going to have a much stronger sense of clarity about what's coming. We have an incredible new moon solar eclipse coming in on the 26th, and I'll talk about that a little bit more through the reading. But I do want to highlight that on the 12th of this month, we've got the full moon in the sign of Gemini. Okay, this is hitting your 5th house, Aquarius, so it's illuminating the duality, okay, the two sides of the coin around areas of romantic love, creativity, what your passion is. And there's this sense that this full moon is going to be, I feel, really interesting in showing you both the light and the shadow. You know, tap into that Mercurial Gemini energy to see what it is that you have going on within your vibration that you need to release so that you can find the cohesion between those two parts of yourself. You know, when the Gemini twins are working in tandem and you know, cooperating with one another, then the things that they can achieve are spectacular. And in that 5th house, we're talking about fame, we're talking about, you know, having a real impact. So I feel that there's illumination around this full moon that wants to show you where you're trying to manifest something, where you're trying to bring something in, how you can recognize the shadow or the resistant parts of yourself. And when you can do that, there's a tremendous amount of healing that can and will be activated. We have the Star card coming in, which is an incredible placement at the center of your reading and is also denoting of the sign of Aquarius. So this is you coming through. So for me, there's a beautiful sense of healing, but not only healing, the sense of renewal around optimism and hope through this Sagittarius season. And that actually you taking on board, it's almost like there's like something clicks into place. What you might find is that, you know, people around you, some of the words or the messages or the way that they're communicating with you through this month of December, even if it's things that they've been saying to you for a very long time, Aquarius, there's something about the energy of this month that all of a sudden you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it in a completely different way, and it's going to make sense to you in a way it never has before. This is really important for those of you in relationships as well, because maybe where there has been some disconnect around communication or some challenge that you've had to overcome to try to come to a common ground or a sense of like being on the same page as someone else, and maybe through that, you know, Mercury retrograde as well that we had, you know, it could have muddied the water even more. So I have this epiphany that comes in of you being able to understand or hear something in a way that you haven't before, where you're almost being asked to let your defenses down a little bit and to be vulnerable. And, you know, there is certainly like a fight or flight kind of energy that I feel a little bit that's going on in this reading. And maybe that fire energy from the Queen of Wands, if it's embodying you, Aquarius, is also sort of that sense of you just wanting to escape, wanting to move away and not kind of acknowledge or do the work or take something on board. But I feel that if you can, and you can really hear that, you know, the birthing process is difficult, right? Those threes coming through, like it's not always an easy, comfortable process. But actually what you will gain from that is taking you to a whole new level. It's a beautiful new cycle beginning in this reading for you, and actually one that's incredibly healing. And I think that will impact on the relationships that you have around you. For some of you, Aquarius, you know, 11th house is talking about the friendships and the important kind of connections that you have in your world, and there is a sense of healing coming through this as well. So I feel if you have gone through some turbulence or some misunderstanding or found it difficult to connect with people that have meant a lot to you, there's also a transformation that's coming in on this level for you through the month of December too, okay? On the 20th, Venus is moving into your sign, Aquarius, okay? So this is also going to help you feel more at peace with the way in which you need to connect on a loving vibration, in a loving way to people in your life. But also, Venus rules finance. It's the house of the it's talking about possessions. It's talking about the way that we bring in that sense of abundance into our life. Now, you have 9 of Swords coming through with this, so it feels to me that we are being asked, and I just want to link back to what I talked about with the full moon. You could almost say this is kind of 2 sides of the coin. They're looking in opposite directions. So are your Gemini twins at that full moon, the energy that you're going to be working with, are they looking in polar opposite directions? How do you bring these 2 energies together? How do you release the fear? Because 9 of Swords is about you moving into a fear-based state of thinking, and maybe there's this sense of, okay, I know I need to do it differently, I know I want to be something different, or I want this relationship, I want this situation, I want the way with which I'm creatively expressing myself in my work, or how I'm showing up in a family environment. But as soon as I try to take that first step to be different, what happens is all of these fears, all of this anxiety and stress then comes kind of piling back in to say, oh no, you can't possibly do that. We have to take you right back into the way that you've always done things, because that's where we feel comfortable. So you can kind of get locked into that sort of paralysis of thinking, where that light and shadow are sort of, in polar opposite directions, and that sense of duality is making you feel unbalanced. But on the whole, what the reading is telling me is that actually you have the ability to be able to release a lot of this emotional energy through the month of December, Aquarius. On the 15th, Jupiter in Capricorn is actually going to make a trine with Uranus in Taurus. And what's quite interesting is Capricorn's in your 12th house, okay? So ending, closure, sense of healing, and really that kind of deep subconscious work. And your 4th house is about your roots, the foundations, family environments, your home, your place of work. So it feels to me as well that there's likely to be around that point. Now this is a beautiful energy, this trine, okay? It's coming in with unexpected opportunity. It's bringing in a sense of luck, a sense of optimism. So there's something that's being released in order to make space for progression and advancement in that way for you. And I think that the guides are highlighting this 9 of Swords energy so that you can be aware of where you might trip yourself up, if that makes sense, okay? So let's see what's next. On the 22nd, when Sun moves into Capricorn, okay, we have Emperor energy coming through. I feel like there is, as we approach that holiday season, for some of you, a sense of actually maybe feeling the need to just bring more order and structure into your world, okay? You could be dealing with a cardinal sign here, Aries or Libra specifically, and this could be a father figure or a husband that's coming into the equation that feels important around this time. I'm feeling like toward the end of the month of December. But the Emperor is talking to us about putting everything in order, and this is where I feel like you're being called up. Remember that 3 of Wands energy is calling you up, it's calling you forward, it's asking you to step outside of yourself to try and do things differently. And maybe that's tough for you because the Emperor can be very rooted and very resistant to change, and he likes things done his way, and can be quite forceful in the implementation of those ideas and that kind of set structure and rigidity, if you like. But actually maybe there's something about the people surrounding you showing you that there is more flow and more freedom that you can bring into your world to help release some of that. On the positive, I think that the Emperor can really bring in a sense of diligence and commitment that maybe you need, and with the Capricorn energy specifically, I think that will really help you to anchor and root your energies when you need it most. And I think this is going to be really important as we approach this new moon on the 26th. Okay, it's a solar eclipse. It's in the sign of Capricorn. It's also activating a Jupiter trine with Uranus, and it's going to be really like a bolt out of the blue, okay? Very healing. It's probably for you with that 12th house activity, Aquarius, going to feel quite magical in a sense. I feel like you're not going to quite know where you're at. I feel like you're going to get some incredibly psychic moments and flashes that are going to come through to try and guide you. I feel like you'll be almost given a glimpse behind the veil with something. There'll be an awful lot of revelation and illumination that comes through. I actually think for some of you it's going to take you back over certain experiences that have happened through 2019 and show you the truth of what was behind them, not what your version of events was. This is going to be so important because I feel it's going to almost give you an opportunity to completely recalibrate and release something that was maybe a huge part of like what was holding you back, whether that be in a relationship or something that was connected into, you know, what you've been doing with work or just progression in your life. We have another 3 coming through for you. So again, this sense of like collaboration coming together, but this profoundly like creative energy as well that's exploding through this month of December as you have these epiphanies and you're given the opportunity for some deep healing and release through that 12th house activity for you. So that solar eclipse, it's a really beautiful series of energies that are having a conversation right at the end of the year. And I think it's going to help you make sense of so much so that you can start to put new roots and foundations in place with a commitment to kind of move forward and, you know, have this real sense of personal liberation. Remember, both the Pluto and Saturn conjunction with Jupiter that's taking place in early January is in your 12th house. So, you know, for you, this is a biggie. And it is impacting you on a deeply subconscious level. So if you feel like you're being turned inside out back to front right now, Aquarius, to a certain extent you are, but the sense of liberation that's going to come through from that is going to be profound. Okay, so for the Hanged Man to come in right at the end of your reading, I feel is this deeply spiritual activation that's taking place as all of these energies coalesce through the month of December, okay? So a couple of messages that come up with this. I think for some of you, you may well have this fire energy, okay, that is triggering you in some way or possibly causing you some reason to have some stress or resistance. And you maybe feel a little bit powerless or still stuck as we approach the end of the year. So maybe it's about you turning your attention and your focus toward the areas that you feel you can make progress in, so that you don't allow that energy to permeate into all the different aspects of your life, Aquarius, okay? But for me, if this is also embodying you, I feel it's also this surrendering into the healing energies that are trying to work their way through to you, and not allowing this Nine of Swords energy to become the central character to your story through this month of December. It's there as a mirror to show you where these fears are arising so that you can do the work to be curious about why they're showing up, so you can really release them as we come toward the end of this decade. So the Hanged Man for me actually is the pause. It's the pause that you need just before this next big jumping off place for you. Now we'll go into more detail in the extended to see how this plays out, but I'm just going to pull some oracle cards just now to see how they reflect with the messages that have come through for you. I think for those of you that are focused on relationships, I do feel the communication and the coming together is there, but I still feel like there could be some stress and anxiety that you still need to work through, where you maybe feel slightly in limbo and it's not all kind of it's not all tied up together in the neat bow that you were seeking. But in some ways what Spirit are saying to me is like, you wouldn't want it to be, because there's still so much rich potential and evolution to come that what December's showing you is awareness of self, so that you can come back into that dynamic and really take it to the next level. And I think that's quite exciting in terms of the trajectory of where you want to go, for those of you that are really focused about having more deep and meaningful connections. So the first card coming through for your oracle is faith. Okay, we have this beautiful illumination of the full moon coming through here. And if we link this into what's happening with the full moon Gemini, again, just the understanding of what it's going to illuminate in the light and the shadow, and the two sides of each situation, the two sides of yourself. And in that fifth house activity, you know, also rules children. It's ruling that sense of creativity. It's ruling your passions, romance. So where is this, you know, where is this activating something for you? Where are you being asked to have a deeper sense of faith? But look at this, all this beautiful grass that's growing. It's all in bloom here. You know, this beautiful expansive sky that's being shown. She's deeply peaceful in her energy, and of course giving birth to something. What did we talk about? All these threes in your cards. Again, a number 3 here shown on the card. So there is this sense of you're moving into an energy stream that's demanding of you, that you have to surrender, hanged man, into the inevitable sense of what is unfolding, but also to have deep faith in where this is taking you. Because I feel that you are you're just on the precipice of like a huge inner transformation. And you know, you need to allow, like 12th house activity as well in Capricorn can often be quite an exhausting kind of energy. You have to surrender into it, allow your body to relax, allow yourself downtime, step away from the things that are causing you that stress and anxiety. Give yourself time out. So what needs to come through? This sense of renewal, this sense of adventure. Sagittarius season is all about the adventure. It's all about how do we bring in that big wide open horizon where anything is possible. 11th house, you know, Aquarius, you're the ruler of the 11th house, so that should be in your sweet spot to show you, you know, this is the direction I want to go in. Here are the things that I really want to achieve for myself. This is the kind of relationship that I'm looking for. You have a rich landscape of opportunity in that first part of December to really set your store out. And then we come up to that super powerful new moon on the 26th, where you can really root down those manifestations and you know, allow that new beginning into a new decade. I mean, it couldn't really be a more powerful ending to 2019. And particularly for you moving into Aquarius season in January. So where do you want more adventure? You know, I think what's going to happen is that maybe some of these fears, you know, if we look at what's coming up, fears and the sense of feeling stuck, you know, for some of you, maybe you feel like locked into that job, locked into that relationship, locked into that debt cycle, locked into that family situation. There's something that I feel you're still craving a sense of liberation from. What the cards are saying is you need to have faith that that's coming. I believe that it is, but there's also this fundamental shift that needs to take place within your energy to support that. And I think that there's a rich array of messages and signs that are coming through from the people around you. Even if they're not necessarily close connections to you, just pay attention to where you feel drawn and the teachers and the guides that are showing up. Okay, so your final oracle card is a new moon in Cancer. You and your loved ones are safe. So again, we look at this sense of fear that's coming up with 9 of Swords, maybe that runaway train that's taking place for you, and almost like this lovely gentle message that's coming in, particularly for those of you that are celebrating that kind of festive holiday season and just needing to know that there's going to be some calmness, needing to know that everything is going to be okay. And that you can move into that period of time and allow yourself that sense of healing and closure and release that's so necessary. For me, this is linking in really beautifully to that star energy. And again, with the sense of faith that's coming through as well. Cancer energy is about the sense of nurturing. It's about that attachment to home, that attachment to family, like how we look after ourselves, that sense of self-care that comes through so importantly. So take that message of healing and peace, and also for me linking in strongly with the Hanged Man energy as well, to just say, you know, actually Hanged Man can bring about a sense of deep peace when we allow it, instead of fighting it, instead of saying, oh, not where I want it to be, or this relationship still isn't, you know, on track, or I haven't launched this in my business, or we've got this family thing that's playing out and it's still not where it should be, and I'm dreading this holiday or that encounter or that connection. You know, there's this sense of like, just surrender into the what is of where you are. Take that moment and find a sense of contentment in it, so that you can then use that as a springboard and a jumping off place to actually what you really want moving forward and what comes next, you know, because I do feel you're in a very powerful manifesting state. Queen of Wands, you know, she is a powerful manifester. Her ability to bring in that really strong sense of creative energy, to bring in more abundance. So for those of you that have any fears or stress around finance, you know, she's coming through with this, I can help you come up with the ideas and the wherewithal and the collaborations, yeah, the right people to be able to drive this forward and take this forward. You need to have courage, you need to have conviction, you need to have the strength and the belief in yourself, and you'll make that happen. Okay, Aquarius, I hope that that has resonated for you. If it has, please go ahead, drop me a like and a comment, and you can make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you'd like to join me for the extended, I'm just going to go ahead and pull us some clarifying cards here. Okay, so Three of Wands. Oh, lovely. Clarified by the Three of Wands. I do enjoy when this happens because it just strengthens the message for your reading. And Eight of Coins. So this sense of real mastery coming through. Could also be dealing with an earth sign here, I feel, as well. Just getting that a little bit with Eight of Coins today. Okay, Seven of Wands is coming through with the Seven of Coins. Okay. Ace of Wands and the Queen of Wands. Look at how all these elemental energies are matching one another. Beautiful. Okay, Three of Cups is bringing in the Five of Cups, and yeah, I can understand why that's coming through. You know, when I talked about the mirroring and people having things to say to you that maybe you're not ready to receive or hear, but that through this month you will. But what does that bring about then? Maybe some inner conflict and stress as you realize or come to terms with something within yourself. But that's okay, because you're then going to be able to release it. You're going to get the idea and the concept in a way that you never have before. Page of Swords on the Star. It's an interesting combination that we'll explore a little bit more. Let's pull one more for that. Yes, Ace of Cups. Self-renewal and self-love, self-acceptance on a deep level. Nine of Swords bringing in the Eight of Wands. Actually, I feel there's a message coming through connected to this really strongly. Let's see where it's about. Three of Swords. Okay, we'll go into more detail with this to give you a sense of understanding in the extended. The Emperor's bringing in the Chariot. Cardinal energy. Could be a Cancerian here as well that we're dealing with, this person. And Tower energy as well coming through. Remember, we talked about this need for personal liberation, Aquarius. Three of Pentacles is bringing in the Six of Swords energy. Pull one more for that. Queen of Swords. This could be you, Aquarius, or another air sign. Lovely Sun energy coming in with the Hangman. See, I feel really actually optimistic about the position of where the Hanged Man is in your reading, and clarifying it with the Sun and the Star. Absolutely. That makes sense to me. Okay, let's just quickly clarify these oracles for you. The Faith is bringing in the Six of Wands. Victory on its way when you surrender deeply into the inevitability of things. The Emperor's come up again for you in this reading, Aquarius, to do with adventures. Maybe this is the push-pull here. Is the Emperor adventurous, or is he quite happy to stay rooted to where he is? Justice coming through. Could be a Libra energy that you're dealing with, particularly when we talk about you and your loved ones. So maybe this is a family member specifically, or a legal situation that you're caught up in right now. that you're looking for some peace of mind over. Two of Coins as well, again, could be a financial or a decision, a choice that's important. We're going to go into this and unravel things to give you even more clarity. So if you'd like to join me for the extended Aquarius, you can go ahead, just click on the link next to the description and it will bring you through to my website. Thank you so much for joining me for December. I wish you blessings for the month ahead. Can't wait to tune in for January. Stay tuned in December for your annual readings, which will also be out at some point during the month. And thanks so much for supporting my channel. All the best.